T-minus 6 days until Sparkle's release, so let's talk about her Lightcones, right? First, her signature is obviously her signature. Now, it's very good, right, because you do get the 32% extra crit damage for herself and the 10 crit rate and 28 crit damage to the, the whole team. It's a team-wide buff. As good as that is, there's other options here that we're going to talk about that, in my opinion, make this a very, kind of rough Lightcone to pull, especially if you consider the 4 stars that are on the banner, because I believe it's Under the Blue Sky, that Your Edition one, right? Genius Repose, and then I don't remember the third one, but all 3 of them are not very good, right? Comparatively to this banner right now with Black Swan, that we have Dance, 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 and Resolution on, which is the best Lightcone banner that has been out so far. This Lightcone banner is just not as valuable or worthwhile to actually invest 75 pulls in, and God forbid you lose. So for that reason, as good as the signature is for Sparkle, there's a couple other options, and let's actually get into it. Dance, Dance, Dance. Because of the energy requirements on Sparkle, her having a guaranteed 3-turn ult, right, with nothing but an energy regen rope, makes it so now this action advance that you can get is actually more consistent than Ting Yun, because with Ting Yun, there's a bunch of things you have to do to actually make sure that you can get your 3-turn ult, whether that's getting hit or whether that's using Ranmei's Lightcone, or also using that 5% ornament, right, with Von Whack or Penacony. The Dance 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 makes it so technically, right, and I might actually show this, if you're able to get a fast enough Sparkle, right, pair that with a Dance Dance Dance, now you can also use Ting Yun on the team, and since Ting Yun can get her technique up at the beginning of the battle, right, or due to her technique, her ult up, then that means that you're going to be able to get 2 sets of Dance Dance Dance, and that's why I recommend, if you do have multiple Dance Dance Dances, don't superimpose them all, right, into one, even if you can't get to S5, right, leave them at whatever imposition is, so you have one left, right, whether that's S2 and S1 or S5 and S1, right, and that way you can just have 2 Dance 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 Lightcones that now is going to allow for extreme amounts of action advance on your team, and it's going to make those 3 turns, specifically in a single cycle, super viable and a very, very good option to use on Sparkle, right? Another thing that's really cool about the Dance 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 is that with the 50% action advance that you're going to get from Sparkle's skill, right, you're actually going to run into problems where sometimes you might not be able to action advance a character to go right after, and that's why we're actually going to be talking about this one right here. Bronya's Lightcone is actually, Bronya might go in A. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put Bronya in A. The reason being is because that 50% means that you're actually going to have to do a slight bit of speed tuning to make sure that your DPS goes right after Sparkle. Now, it won't be too hard to do in practice, although I'm going to have to wait for Sparkle to actually come out, so I might eat my words there. But the extra skill point that you now get every other ult means that you're now going to gain 5 skill points on an ult, which is just crazy, right? And the extra 30% damage bonus is also just very, very nice. It's very, very nice. The only problem, which isn't a problem, right? But it's just the energy regen is just useless because you don't really need, you don't need the energy regen. The only way you can get a consistent, well, there is no consistent, but if you want to get a 2-turn ult, then you'd have to use Cogs, and because the energy is useless, but if you were to get hit twice with Cogs, then you are able to get a 2-turn ult. So for that reason, it's if you don't have any of the other options, then Cogs is not a terrible choice, and it does allow for those 2-turn ults if you're able to get hit twice, right? Now, next, we do have Ranmei's Lightcone. Ranmei's Lightcone is just, you're only going to be using it for the 10 energy at the beginning of the wave, so there's just so many other better options that you can't take advantage of the extra skill point because there's no way you're going to be able to get that much break effect on, on Sparkle, right? And I don't know why you would, because you're trying to go for crit damage and then speed, and then, HP defense subs for survivability. So for that reason, Ranmei's goes here. Now, Past in the Future actually does give you 2 extra % damage than Bronya's Lightcone at S5, and it's also a wonderful, wonderful free-to-play option. However, the extra skill point is probably more valuable than that 2 extra % damage that you can get from passing the future, and the base stats of Bronya's Lightcone is just going to make her so tanky and so nice, especially considering that you are going to have to be running a crit damage body on her, so it's not going to be like Ruan Mei where you can go double HP / defense on both the chest and the orb, right? Next, Planetary Rendezvous is going to be obviously very good for, mono quantum teams or just quantum teams in general, right? So whether you're using a Sela, Joy, or QQ. And since it's not tied by the turn order, Planetary Rendezvous is going to be pretty nice when you just want a reliable damage boost. And I'm trying to think, there's no follow-ups that are after, so for example, you're going to be triggering like Jouei's follow-ups on that same turn, so they're still going to benefit from the damage boost that these 2 Lightcones give. So there's no quantum unit that does follow-ups outside of their turn, so it's not going to go in A for that reason. So I'm going to put it at B, also because I don't think the quantum teams are going to be other than QQ. Actually, I take it back, because Sela is going to be really happy with all those extra skill points, being able to skill so much extra. Although I actually like using the basic on Sela a lot, because then you can, possibly skip Bronya's turn and then get like 2 actions with Sela before you boost her up again. Or same with Sparkle, right? Bronya, Sparkle, similar. Yeah. Next, Memories of the Past. The energy that you gain off the basic is just, you don't really want to be basicing with Sparkle, although that trace where you gain 10 extra energy from her basic does make it so you don't miss out on your ults if you do basic, but the energy is useless, and the break effect just, her kick is so good, so honestly, just having a nice kick to break might be extremely satisfying, but it's not something that you're trying to build, So that's probably going to go there. Now, as for the Battle Pass Lightcone, I don't know how many people have bought this Lightcone. It's not very good. I hate RNG Lightcones. It's probably better than Cogs, though. So, yeah, that makes sense, I think. Yeah, I think I'll put that there. Yeah. The energy... Yeah, pretty much the energy is probably the best buff that you can give some of your characters, and that's only if you can actually break some thresholds. So, nothing too special going on there. Now, as for this is pretty much like a pseudo Planetary Rendezvous that then works with every element. The only problem is that you have to correspond it with the type of, ability that you're using on your DPS. So, for example, if you're using the ult on Sparkle, then that means your ults get buffed. If you use the skill, which you're always going to be using, the skills get buffed. So it can work inside certain circumstances, and it is a good option if you don't want to use Past in the Future, although comparatively to Past in the Future and this, I'd say Past in the Future is way better. So I go for Past in the Future, and let's see if I want to change anything here. Honestly, yeah, I think Dance 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 is actually going to be more effective than her signature Lightcone. I think Dance 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 is just so good. It's just going to be such a great Lightcone, and again, signature makes sense. Bronya, extra skill point and damage. It checks out. I put those in this order. These are very similar Lightcones. These are very similar Lightcones. Cogs definitely goes above, just because if you do want to get hit twice, it's good, but the base stats is going to really make you suffer. The base stats is going to suck, but other than that, that is actually a relatively quick tier list. So I managed to get that done really fast. So now I might have time to make another video. Yeah. So if you have any suggestions or any ideas, if you disagree with any of these placements, please let me know so we can discuss it in the comments. And subscribe if you're not. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for watching. Adios.